Hello everyone, welcome to Enviro Pioneers. In this video, we are going to learn about the energy resources and their classification. There are different types of materials available in nature that can be utilized as the energy resource. These resources are used to generate the electricity or other forms of the power that can be utilized by the humans. In our day-to-day activities, we are dependent upon these resources. For example, here we have the use of electricity in our daily life. So the electricity is needed for the heating or the cooling purpose, and for this we have the different electrical appliances. It is also utilized for the indoor and the outdoor lighting, communication purpose for charging our mobile phones or the laptops, and the for using the computers, or for communication purpose like the TV and the radio, or if we have to use something for the motion or power like the drilling, blenders, or the electric vehicles. So there also we need electricity for charging them or for utilizing them. For cooking purpose, we are dependent upon the natural gas which are supplied to the domestic households, either in the form of the gas pipelines or the gas cylinders. And for the transportation, we need petrol or the diesel as a fuel in our two-wheeler or the four-wheelers. So what are the energy resources? So energy resources are the sources of energy that can be used to perform work or provide heat, light, or power for human activities. And these are essential for sustaining the modern life, driving industrial processes, and supporting the transportation, agriculture, and the domestic energy requirements. The basic source of energy for our planet is the sun. And with the help of the technological advancement, we now have the facility to harness the solar energy for different requirements. And except this nuclear, rest all are the indirect solar energy, because this wind is generated because of the unequal heating of the earth's surface. This hydro energy, it is dependent upon the evaporation rate and the amount of precipitation in a particular catchment area. And if we see for the biomass, coal, oil, and the natural gas, these are the stored solar energy in the living organisms. Through the help of photosynthesis process, the plants, they use the solar energy and produce food. And most of the energy that we use today, it generally comes from the fossil fuels, that is the coal, oil, and the natural gas. And the matter that store energy, it is referred as the fuel. Human energy consumption, it has grown steadily throughout the human history, and the development of the energy resource, it is related with the advancement in the technologies. Initially, the muscle power, generally the human labor or the domestic animals, were utilized as the energy resource. But then with the invention of the steam engine, where the water was heated in a closed vessel to produce high pressurized steam, there was requirement of the another fuels. So initially it was firewood, but with the increase in the demand of the energy, there was shift from firewood to coal. And in the late 1800s, the simultaneous development of the three technologies, internal combustion engine, oil well drilling, and the refinement of the crude oil into the gasoline and the other fuel, this led to the uses of the gasoline as the fuel. This graph, it represents the global primary energy consumption by source, and it is taken from this particular website, Our World in Data. On the right hand side, we can see the different energy resources. We are having the traditional biomass which is utilized since 1800, and then the coal, it is utilized since 1850, and then from 1925 or something we have the uses of the oil, and then we have this natural gas. So these are the fossil fuels, and then apart from this we also have the nuclear energy, and then we have the renewable resources. So we will learn about these non-renewable and renewable resources in detail one by one in our upcoming videos in the same playlist, Energy and Environment. In this video, we are going to focus only on the classification of energy resources. So the first classification is based on the time required for the formation of the energy resource. So on this basis, we have the renewable energy resource and the non-renewable energy resource. So the resources which can be replenished over a fairly short span of time, like the month, years, or the decades, they are considered as the renewable energy resource, and they are replenished at a higher rate than they are consumed. So here we have the example: solar energy, biomass, wind, geothermal, or the hydropower. And then we have the non-renewable energy. So here come all the resources which take or which require million of years to form and accumulate. So in this we have the example fossil fuels like the coal, oil, and the natural gas, and the nuclear fuels like the uranium and thorium. Second classification is based on availability. So on this basis, these resources are classified into perpetual or the continuous resources, and then we have the non-continuous energy resources. So as the name suggests, these resources will remain available in the same measure for an indefinitely long time. So example in this, we have the solar energy, wind, geothermal energy, or the wave power. And the non-continuous energy resources are those which will not remain available in their quantity for the long time. For example, here we have the fossil fuels and the hydroelectric power. We can note here that this hydroelectric power is a renewable energy, but this is non-continuous energy resource because this hydroelectric power, it depend upon the quantity of water in a river, and that can be affected by the amount of the rainfall or the amount of water extraction from the rivers. So this is also included under the non-continuous energy resources. Third classification is based on traditional use. So on this basis, we have the conventional sources of energy and the non-conventional sources of energy. So conventional sources means all those sources which are the traditional form of the power or the energy production, मीन्स जो लॉन्ग टाइम से यूज होते आ रहे हैं. इस पे वी हैव द एग्जांपल फॉसिल फ्यूल्स लाइक द कोल, नेचुरल गैस और द ऑयल, जो हमेशा से हम यूज करते आ रहे हैं. बट द नॉन कन्वेंशनल सोर्सेज ऑफ एनर्जी, दीज आर द न्यूयर एंड द लेस कॉमनली यूज सोर्सेज ऑफ एनर्जी, जो अभी हम डेवलप कर रहे हैं एंड विच आर हैविंग द पोटेंशियल to play a crucial role in fulfilling the future needs. So all the renewable energy resources are the example of the non-conventional source of energy. Next classification is based on their sources and the use. So on this basis, these resources can be classified into primary energy sources and the secondary energy resources. So here we have means if the energy, it is produced by the direct और अनकन्वर्टेड एनर्जी सोर्स, जैसे कि बायोमास, हाइड्रो पावर, या फिर विंड, सोलर रेडिएशन, न्यूक्लियर फ्यूल्स और द फॉसिल फ्यूल्स. So these are referred as the primary energy sources because they are utilized directly. So when the energy which is derived from any of the primary sources like the hydropower, wind, solar energy, which are mentioned here, so if this energy, it is converted to produce easily available energy, so this particular thing is referred as the secondary energy resource. For example, in a thermal energy power station, electric energy is generated from the thermal energy by burning the fossil fuels. So here the fossil fuel is the primary energy resource, but this thermal energy, it is the secondary energy resource. This image is compilation of the primary energy resource and the secondary energy resource. So here we have some examples which are extracted or harnessed from the nature, and they are utilized to generate some another form of energy. So here we can see this crude oil, hard coal, natural gas, liquid natural gas, nuclear energy, waste, and then all the renewable energy resource. So these are transformed into the petroleum product, manufactured solid fuels and the gases, then electricity and the heat and the biofuel, etc., which is supplied to the consumers. So these materials or the resource which are extracted and harnessed from the nature, they are the example of the primary energy resources, and the energy which we get after transformation of the primary energy, that is the secondary energy resource. Next classification is based on the commercial value. On this basis, we have the commercial energy sources and the non-commercial energy sources. So the sources or the energy for which we pay money, or which is commercially available in the market for a definite price, that comes under the commercial energy resources. So here we have the fossil fuel or the electrical energy. We pay the gas bill, electricity bill. So that is the amount of money which we are paying for consuming a certain amount of electricity or certain volume of the gas. And then this is also important in the agriculture sector, industrial sector, and the transportation sector. And then the non-commercial energy resources are those which are not availed from the market. For example, the fuels which are traditionally used, especially in the rural part of the world, like the firewood, biomass, and the cow dung, these are example of the non-commercial energy resources. But here we have certain exception because the price of certain material, it depend upon the place and the utility. So the things which are freely available in the rural areas or which comes under the non-commercial energy resource, that may be the commercial energy resource in a urban area or in any other places where these materials are required. So generally these are the non-commercial energy resources, but they may be included under the commercial energy resource depending upon the place and their utility. Here are some of the references from which the content have been taken. The first reference is of a book, Environmental Science Toward a Sustainable Future. The second citation is of the content material from the IGNO. And the third one is a website where the conventional and the non-conventional source of energy is mentioned in detail. So I will be putting all these links in the description box also. And thank you for your support. We'll meet soon in the next video. Thank you.